Captain Amit Singh.
नमस्ते.
सर वेरी मैनी कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशंस. मैंने एक चीज़ नोटिस किया, आज आपने कॉकपिट नहीं छोड़ा, आपने वो सीट और वो एरिया बिल्कुल नहीं छोड़ा. So I was observing a few things, and also the co-pilot for today, your better half. You couldn't have asked for a better co-pilot today. And बीच में अभी थोड़ा cabin pressure disturb हो गया. Your wife was like very smart and आप भी. So very many congratulations. And sir, one thing that that really attracted me to come today here, मैं भी आपके जैसा कभी कभार सोचती हूँ, it's not just what we see or the info we get. You really have unseen forces, and you really have to expand your senses and your brain to be able to look beyond. It is not very simple. So this is what attracted me to come here today. And I do not have a question. Lots and lots of good wishes and blessings to you. But my friend was here, he'll come. He wanted to know more about, like, why are we still lacking certain technologies related to the black box? Why are we not really as capable of decoding certain things, and why are we still dependent on the outside? Because black box is really, you know, you decode and you get so many things and apply them and everything. But yes, what flaws do you see, or what are loopholes that you see, and what are your suggestions?
I always come from outside to inside. So you have you have a philosophy. So philosophy is basically the bigger part. As somebody needs to have a philosophy. From the philosophy comes the policies. From the policies come the procedures. Procedures are put to practice. So the philosophy is the roadmap, the long-term roadmap. So somebody has to think in the long term, that where do we see Indian aviation in the next 25, 40 years. So now people are traveling, aircrafts are coming in, that is good enough. Like I said, institutions are not there. We are not making these institutions which can churn out professionals. Similarly, infrastructure has to grow with it. So when we know that we are getting 300 aircrafts, and aircrafts are all the modern jets, 350, 777. So what is the related technology which is required for these aircrafts? If India wants to develop or build their own aircraft, then they need all these things. If you want to develop your aircraft, you cannot still depend on the FAA or EASA. So what is the genesis of EASA? EASA is the European regulator. When the Europeans wanted to make an aircraft, the only certifying agency was FAA. So they didn't want to go to FAA. So that is why they made their own regulator, because they knew that Boeing was the only FAA approved, and they would be assistance from US. So they decided to create their own infrastructure. So now they have everything in-house, and they are the role models. So similarly, when you talk about Boeing and MCAS, like the Boeings were grounded because of this MCAS issues. So only one country in the world was training their pilots on MCAS, which is Brazil. Because they make aircrafts, they build aircrafts. So they knew how to, they have a operational evaluation board, how to evaluate aircraft independently without FAA or anybody. So they found MCAS and they were training their pilots on MCAS. Nobody in the world knew about it. Right? So that is just the capability that you have to develop to build your own aircraft. It's not nuts and bolts. So you have to have the whole system in place, including DFDR capability and the chip. If the chip gets damaged, so now we have built a 9 crore facility that can only read the DFDR, CDRs. But if the chip level damage, we cannot do it. DRDO can do it, but there are certain, because these are specialized chips by the manufacturer, so we still have to go back. So if you are buying so many aircrafts, then we have to have transfer of technology of the whole, the gamut, not just aircraft. Like an airline buys aircraft, they buy rotables, spares, training, etc. But what does the state get? State does not get anything. State also needs these investigation, the tools, and their training along with that. So it has to be the whole parcel, the whole. We have to look at from the bigger picture, not just the black box. So we need training and training facilities. We are not manufacturing simulators. Like we are sending people out for simulators. We should be making our own simulators. Turkey making their own simulators. So we are not all thinking of that. So that thought process, long-term roadmap has to be there. Then you will identify what is the need of the hour, short-term, long-term. So right now we are basically running, like I said, firefighting. So we find we don't have DFDR facilities. So we won't build, we will send it outside. Because people think, accident happens once in 4 years, 5 years. So we will. So recommendations of Mangalore accident have not been implemented, Calicut not been implemented. Because our memory is something happens, so the past one goes away. So that is why we need that independence within aviation so that we can deal with it. So that bureaucracy which is, because they keep rotating. So who is here in the long term, who has an eye? So that kind of a roadmap or key vision needs to be developed. So we don't have a think tank, aviation think tank. There are not many conferences happening where we discuss issues, thrash out issues. People are afraid to talk. So everything goes on WhatsApp chatter. So there's nothing constructive. Right? So what is the new training program that we need? So let's have a debate. Let's prepare a paper, think tank. So that kind of institutions are required.
Right. I've got something very specific about our capability of the reading of the DFDR and the requirement to send it. There are two things I would like to add. You didn't make a mention because I was worried you're not going to make a mention. So the AIIB has got a facility which is 9 crore which can read the DFDR, the CBR. But unfortunately, because of the extent of damage, every machine is capable of only something, right? So they got to send it. Now, Annex 13 specifies the preliminary report has to be submitted within 1 month and the final report has to be submitted within 12 months. So they can't wait. So a decision has to be taken. Now, again, in business also, it's a make or buy, so these are decisions whether you want to spend more money or not spend more money. But very happily agree with Captain Amit Singh. I'm just reminded of a movie, Jack and Jill. I'm very fond of quoting this. Adam Sandler plays the double role. He plays himself and the twin sister, Jack and Jill. That's how it goes. So Jill comes to Jack's place, and Jack is married. Jill isn't. She's a spinster. She comes down, and he goes to receive her at the airport. She's got at least about 12 pieces of luggage. He says, "Are you here for a week, or you're going to stay put permanently, or something?" He's a bit worried. So she says, "Don't you remember what Mama said? It is better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. It is better to have it and not need it." And so it's so beautiful. It's a philosophy. So I think, like he says, I think there should be a lot of horizontal integration. You want to build a complete ecosystem, and India now is the third largest in aviation industry. We should look at it as a matter of pride. It should not be like, one out of say 10 million aircraft, there's a 1 million, there's a crash, 880,000 or something. I had a statistic. We should not look at it that way. I think whenever you need it, you should have it. So I think building the capability, but who take the call to build these capabilities is the question. If you have the right people at the right place, and safety is given the kind of prominence that it ought to be given, people keep talking about safety first, safety foremost, safety forever and all that, but most of it is lip service. So if in case people are serious, I think, but that will happen. I think eventually, we'll go towards that kind of a roadmap. Thank you.
Thank you.